Simra's like a random guest in here.
A random background noise.
Yes. Simra's a background noise.
I'll tell you gotta land here, so my phone can be used.
You could be you can adjust it how you
be
like.
at home without your phone.
Is it good?
That's good. Perfect. Alhamdulillah. Simra, you could show yourself if you like to have a little special appearance come in.
It's like a little wave.
Have some water? Can you throw me some water?
You guys all want it?
Yeah, and the chini too.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Can't throw the genie, I'm
Do it, do it.
Go for it.
Shit, this is all you bros.
Faja, let's go. No, oh, no, it's gonna open
I
up.
don't know if it's gonna open up.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh, it's true all over
Oh,
us.
it's open. Yeah. Here you go.
okay.
I'll walk for this.
Maybe we shouldn't do that on camera.
What? Walking?
Oh my god, I'm so thirsty.
Honestly, dude. Do you guys not get like? Does your throat not get dry when doing these things? When doing these like?
We don't talk for that long, I don't think. Unfortunately, honestly, I promise you these things would be way longer if we were like, if I was able to edit all of it with ease. It takes so long editing,
Dude,
bro.
I heard editing is the worst part of everything.
I promise you it is. Bro, literally. And think about it, bro. So like, I edit it. I have to listen to the whole podcast again.
And then you probably have to rewind like 10
And-
times,
yeah,
cut
yes,
and all that stuff.
Yes. And then I have to make Instagram clips, so I have to clip different parts of it.
Yeah,
It's crazy, bro.
dude. One of my friends, like, he's like, you know what? We should start recording our basketball sessions, right?
Yeah.
So then we start recording. Oh my bad.
No, you're
Like
good.
we started recording them,
Bismillah.
and he's like, dude, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I have to. He's like, I have to watch 2 hours of footage. And then I have to go back, see the same shot like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like 5 times. He's like, I know what's going to happen. Like, spoiler alert, it's going to miss. You know?
Bro, like, honestly, like, I don't want to, like, I'm just being real as fudge. Alhamdulillah, thank God Almighty, I don't get annoyed of looking at my own face. Wallahi,
You
alhamdulillah.
have a pretty face, man. You know?
I promise you, I wouldn't be able to do it then. I promise you. That's the only reason why I can edit these videos is because I don't mind looking at myself.
Yeah, I don't edit the videos. That's all for us.
There you go, bro.
I swear. Oh my God, the chini, bro. That's the second most important part, Chai.
Dude, literally. What's your relationship with chai though? Like, that's a lot of fucking sugar. Damn, bro.
Dude,
You sure about
I
that
have
with
to-
sugar?
I have to
How
drink.
much you put in?
Dude, I mean,
That was-
maybe I'm gonna put too less.
Yeah, that
You're
was-
Oh,
right.
was that too much?
I don't think so.
I felt like that was a lot, but you know better.
Yeah,
You're
I don't think
you're
so.
the chai man.
I drink chai every day. I have to.
It was
Oh, really?
That's the perk of working from home, man.
Bismillah.
In the,
Oh,
in the morning, you wake up. You know, you have a meeting in like your shorts and your shirt.
it's the
and all that
best,
stuff.
dude.
Yeah, and then after the meeting, you just go in the kitchen, make a cup of chai, and you know, just chill.
That's cool.
So when do you get out of bed when you're working from home?
What happened?
When do you get out of bed when you're working from home?
Let's see. Work starts at 9, so 8:55.
Dang.
I literally roll over, grab my laptop, and sit in bed.
That's
and
still a
work
big
for
deal for me. 8:55 is a pretty big deal for me too.
Yeah,
stay in bed,
No,
bro.
no, literally, because sometimes it's so hard. Like it's so hard because usually, like when I used to go to the office, I would get up at 7:30. You know, get ready by like 8:20, 8:30, and then drive over there and still be stressing out that I'm late and all that stuff. Like,
This is going
20
online, by the way.
Yeah.
This is going online. So
hey, listen, there's like I'm not gonna say what company I work for. That's like breach of interest. Breaching. Hey, for legal purposes, this is a joke. My employer cannot use this against me.
Bro, but honestly, they do like use this stuff again. I'm probably gonna mute it out, but like they do use this stuff against you.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want to.
Yeah, they
only
probably do.
only they want to though.
This is a joke, by the way.
He's lying to us.
I love my work. I get up at 8:55 in the morning every day. I change into my dress shirt
and works at 8 p.m. every day.
at 8 p.m. Without fail. If my company calls me at 1 a.m., I'm there. I'm there for y'all.
Now you can get hired by a bunch of companies.
Oh my God, my LinkedIn's gonna blow up. Arm
camera.
thing is like one of the coolest things
Are we
ever.
both in the frame?
Yeah.
All right, bet. It's recording,
You want
right?
to scoot back over?
Okay.
I can check all of them.
Yeah, this is recording too.
What were you saying?
You want to scoot back over? Or?
Yeah, heck yeah. Be in the middle.
Dude, this gimbal thing is like the coolest thing. I, don't know if
I
it's a gimbal.
love it, man. Dude, like, this is all new to me too, bro. Like, to be honest with you, it feels like every time I look at it from the outside perspective, and I'm just like, wow, this is awesome.
No, this is so cool, dude. Like, this is like a whole patio setup, and you guys made it into like a whole podcast thing.
Man, Alhamdulillah, Allah blessed us with the weather being perfect. You know, like one time me and Taha did a podcast inside of the hookah lounge, and the music was so loud we couldn't even post it.
Oh, now it's good.
Astaghfirullah.
Oh, the music. The music is.
It was just absurd. Like I'm pretty sure people who are listening like on Spotify or something, they're gonna be listening to freaking constant Arabic music. Alhamdulillah. Allah turned it off, bro.
Let's turn it up. Ya Allah, please. Man.
Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, dude, this setup is awesome.
Thank you, bro.
This is just looking at it from behind, like just like watching it. I'm like, man, this is such a professional setup. And then just looking at it, I'm like, they make it look so professional. It's awesome.
Thank you, bro.
It is crazy.
That's so funny, bro.
No, but remember, you were texting me yesterday. You're like, it might be cold tomorrow
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And
This
I was
is a
like,
perfect temperature.
yeah. And now when I woke up this morning, I'm like, dude, an outside podcast would be fire.
Dude, right?
It'd be so fire.
I love the nature. Are you in the nature often?
Oh, big time.
Subhanallah.
Big time. The thing, okay, so like, I went to LA in January, right?
Mhm.
And the main reason I went back to LA was because in August I went with my family, and I couldn't really do a lot of outdoor activities because like parents in their old age,
Yeah.
they can't like hike or anything like that and all that stuff. So me and this friend we planned a trip to California. We were thinking like San Francisco or LA, right? I'm like, let's go to LA because I know LA. It'll be much easier. We don't have to like discover all that stuff. I can plan
Yeah,
everything.
heck
Else.
yeah.
He's like, cool. So the main part of LA that I wanted to go back to, or not even LA in California, was Malibu.
Okay.
Was Malibu, mostly because I loved the drive.
Oh, okay.
The drive, like subhanallah, like just like my family doesn't travel too much, so just being in Houston, like seeing this
Yeah.
flat land
Mhm.
and just like the humidity and all that stuff.
Seeing anything other than that is
Anything
like,
like
awesome.
just more like anything other than concrete, right? Anything other
and
than
broken roads.
yeah, like broken potholes and all that stuff. It's like on Westheimer, pulling aside, making
Dude.
sure, praying. Like it's like, man, this thing sounded expensive. But yeah, we went to Malibu and we went to this place. I don't know if you went to I know you went to LA before.
Yes.
Have you been to Malibu?
I believe I have.
I think so.
Have you been to Malibu?
Why does it not ring a bell? in our
Like,
heads?
Because I felt like
I've heard of Malibu a lot, and I know that I checked like the best things over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beach, right? Or what else is?
Yeah,
what-
it's so the thing is it's more like it's more scenic, and
okay.
it's like there's a route. It's called like it's the best, like the most beautiful highway.
Highway 1,
Route
right?
1, Highway
Oh
1.
yeah.
Highway
Heck yeah.
So
heck
that goes through Malibu.
Okay.
And one place I wanted to go to was called Point Doom,
Okay. Point
right?
Doom.
It's a cliffside beach.
Okay. Cliffside Beach.
And the thing
okay.
is that that's the first time I've ever went it's a rock climbing or rock hiking. Anyways, we hiked on the side of the cliff.
Wow.
It was literally like
Subhanallah.
the most peaceful thing ever.
Oh my god.
Just sitting,
man. MashaAllah.
just sitting on a rock, right, and just seeing the Pacific Ocean. By the way, Pacific Ocean is the most
Oh,
supreme ocean on planet Earth.
Fudge.
I-
Subhanallah.
Yeah, just seeing that, the breeze hitting you, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just so peaceful, man.
You're right.
Alhamdulillah.
Dude,
It's just,
Simra fell in love with that too. She saw a little bit of that. Remember the Pacific Ocean? You saw that?
Like California is just like heaven.
Dude.
We went to like so many cities there. I think everything.
How long did you drive on the Highway 1?
so we went to probably like an hour and a half, honestly.
Dang, you see a lot of sites then.
I love
You
it.
see a lot of
Yeah, I
sites
just
then.
loved it. And the thing is,
Yeah.
I told my friend, I was like, I'm driving. You're not driving.
Yeah.
Because I want to enjoy the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
my
something.
family drove from San Fran to LA on Highway 1,
Right.
and that was an experience. Like so I mean, it was beautiful, but for after like 3-4 hours, kind of like I'm kind of done with this. But it was like a 8-9 hour drive, and then we got to a certain point, and we're almost there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stop at San Diego, I think, for a day or a night, and then drive back up,
Mhm.
whatever. And we got there, and there had been a
San Jose.
Is it San Jose?
Yeah.
San Jose is near San Fran, right?
Yeah.
No, this is down. This is down south.
Going down? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this is down south, like maybe an hour or two from LA. Well, we were almost there, and there was what's it called when the rocks fall off a cliff?
Avalanche?
Avalanche.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Is that with the snow?
I think that's the snow. Maybe it's just called rocks falling on the side of a cliff.
Oh, man. But yeah, so like literally maybe an hour before we got there was a rock slide or whatever.
Oh my
Dang.
God.
I had to drive all the way back. That was the most tiring day of our
Wow.
lives. Because we
That's
literally had to
crazy.
go to LA and back down to get to our hotel in San Diego or wherever it was.
Man. San Diego's beautiful though.
It was gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
So do you travel often or no?
Not as much as I would like to, honestly.
Bro, that's like
That-
everyone. I
That's
feel
why,
like.
because so the reason I went to LA was that like in January was like a tough month. Right,
Mhm.
I was just so exhausted, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I need to get away. I
Okay.
actually was gonna go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna enjoy by myself. and all that stuff,
Dude,
right?
solo.
So the thing is, I actually got the inspiration from you. Actually,
No way,
because I
mashallah.
remember you I think I talked to Simra.
Mhm.
It was like you were gonna go to Kentucky,
Kansas.
Kansas. You were
Oh,
gonna go
God.
to Kansas by yourself,
That had
right?
my heart, yeah.
And all that. So I was like, you know what? I think I need to do that. I think like just
Dude,
to
yeah.
recharge away and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But then I told one of my close friends. I told him I was like, hey, I'm gonna go there and all that stuff, right? And he's like, oh, let me come with you.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what? Like, why not?
Yeah, heck yeah, why
It'll
not?
be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to group.
Spontaneous, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's not going to group. You're just going one person. It'll be nice to have like a.
It's gonna
like
be
a
so
travel.
intimate with that one individual, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's cool. That's cool.
You learn something
You
about each
learn
other.
things, bro.
Exactly.
You learn things.
Yeah.
So one thing I learned, one thing I learned about him, by the way, and I always call him crazy for this, right? I can't do this. Subhanallah, like people who do this, they're like they can conquer the world. But he stays up after Fajr.
He stays up until Fajr?
After Fajr.
After Fajr.
He reads
Oh,
Fajr and then he doesn't go back to sleep.
Mashallah.
I mean,
Mashallah.
technically, that's what we've been told. That's what
Yeah.
we've been told to do, but it's just so difficult.
It's the hardest thing in the world. It is so
But
difficult.
he takes the sunnah nap, right?
It's a sunnah nap. No, he
There's
doesn't.
a
Even,
Zohar-
no,
there's a
he doesn't
Zohar
even
nap.
nap. He doesn't even
Whoa.
nap.
When does he sleep? Like at
Yeah,
after
what
Maghrib,
times
like
does he sleep?
8
Like
or something?
I have no clue. I wish I could answer that. But-
Because like
no, he didn't sleep though. He didn't sleep the. I mean, he slept at night, obviously.
it wasn't intimate enough.
Yeah, it wasn't intimate.
I need
We
to go
slept
on
on
another
separate beds,
vacation.
But yeah, what he would do right after Fajr, because I would just go back to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Yep, I'm going back to sleep.
Mashallah.
Knockout, right?
Yeah.
So we had a rental car.
Yeah.
And he would drive to. I don't know
Wow.
if you heard of Manhattan Beach.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So he would drive to Manhattan Beach and
Wow.
just sit there for like an hour,
Are
hour
you
and a half.
serious?
He would
Dude.
get a cup of coffee, sit on the pier,
Oh, God,
and just
man.
enjoy the view.
That
And I'm like, you know what? Like, if I could
Goals.
do that, if I had
Dude.
like the
The
iman
ability.
to do that, that'd be so awesome.
Bro.
That'd be so awesome.
Subhanallah, bro.
You just appreciate, like, when you see nature,
Allahu
you just
Akbar.
appreciate, like, it's like Allah's like sculpting. Like,
Yeah,
you see
man.
how he sculpted the world,
His
honestly.
design, you know.
Honestly, I love mountains. Like, I
Oh,
love
God.
I
Almighty.
love like elevation and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Just driving in LA and just seeing like the mountains like in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't see this in Houston. I haven't seen
No
this
way,
in, like,
bro.
Subhanallah, right?
God, man.
You know that. And just the ocean, the breeze hitting you,
Bro.
and even like temperatures that are just like nice.
Yeah.
Like a day like this, Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
You're like, man, everything is just so perfect, you know?
Yup. You're
Like, they're-
right.
Like,
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, I really feel like nature is something that is like almost in a sense like a direct connection to Allah,
Yeah.
like spiritually.
well, it was everything we see that's nature, right? Is handmade by Angel Mikhail.
Wow.
That's his
Is that
job.
true?
Yeah, that's his job is
Oh,
to
really? Wow.
maintain the earth and I mean the earth is his like I mean Allah obviously tells him what to do,
Yeah.
but that's like Angel Jabril's role was to bring down the message. His role
Yeah.
is to the nature on the earth.
Right.
So it's-
Israel is like death, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like taking the soul out, Israfil, yeah.
Israel is
Like-
the blower of the horn, right?
Blowing
Yeah.
the horn, yeah.
Why do you think Allah has angels to do his work when Allah can do it himself?
That's a very deep question.
The child.
You set me up, man. I didn't do enough research.
Well, no research, it's just thoughts.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what
Same reason he created us, right? I mean, he created us to worship him. He created the angels to do his tasks, right? It's Allah can do everything, right? But He's given roles and assignments to everything. We have plants to help us breathe, right? I mean, he didn't need to create plants to make oxygen. He just made us self reliant. But he made us rely on plants for oxygen because they play a role.
Mhm.
So I mean, everything has a role that He's created. He won't create anything without it having a specific thing to do.
Yeah, that's like I think that's the most perfect answer you can do. Everything's like a system.
Yeah, everything's a
Right?
system.
Everything's
Yeah.
a system. It just works, and it's I mean like going back to like how we say nature and like the weather and everything. Everything's just so perfectly in order,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Allah can just snap and just anything can happen, right?
Subhanallah.
But it's
Yep.
just like it's like a free flowing like an automated
Yeah.
the world is like an automated system.
Everything's
honestly.
working.
Yeah,
just
everything's
in
working
its
by itself.
in its
It's
task.
it's miracles, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you just look and you just like think you're like, man, like clouds,
Mhm.
like
You're right.
you see them, sometimes you don't see them,
Subhanallah.
right?
Yeah. And there's a see like scientists, well, like a lot of them, what they do is like they they explain how things work in this world and say there's no God. But the thing is that Allah doesn't do things without meaning. Everything that has happened, there is a scientific reason to how it happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that the test? Is making everything seem logical so it tests our faith? Because I mean, in reality, right? Couldn't if you didn't know how the world worked, right? If you didn't know, it was like, why is it raining right now, or why is it not? But the fact that we know it kind of tests our faith a little bit because it brings a logicalness to it.
Yeah.
Well, I see. I think Allah is logic. That's what I feel like.
Right, but like imagine if like right now out of nowhere it started raining, right? And you couldn't even. It's like there was,
Like predicted.
yeah, it's like all of a sudden the clouds aren't even gray, but it starts raining. You'd be like, what the heck is going on? It has to be
Yeah.
some external force doing it. But since everything is like kind of explained, right? Evaporation happens, it builds up in the clouds, moves elsewhere, and rains. It
Right.
kind of takes away that directness of Allah, which to me feels like as it's part of the test of this dunya is having answers.
So I feel like even when you know about all this stuff, like it's about to rain tomorrow and stuff like that, it's always a chance of rain or a chance of it's not happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, so if it does start raining right now, it could be some weather phenomenon where they're like, oh, this happens only 5% of the time and it randomly occurs because of the wind does this, but they don't expect it to happen and it just happens out of nowhere.
Exactly.
You know, I feel like that's Allah doing, you know?
But 100% Allah is doing right, but the fact that we can rationalize it, right? It's the fact that you can pinpoint why it happened. It's kind of it that's what gives atheists ammo, right? It's like, oh, we know how everything happened, right? It's
Right.
not. I mean,
You're talking about the factor of the unknown.
right. So
basically.
the more unknown there is, the more you have to think about an external power. But the fact
Yeah.
that Allah's made everything so, like, everything makes sense, right? Even like the Kaaba is the center of the world, and like
SubhanAllah.
how the fact that everything makes sense is like kind of a test for humanity, where it's like everything makes sense. You can believe that this is just normal, but it takes faith to believe in Allah.
A higher power, exactly.
But if everything was just completely random, right, it would be easier to believe in.
No, that's true. That's pretty true. Like for example, like the most recent example I can think of is the weather on Friday. There was a plan between me and a couple people to play basketball, and we played at a court that's outside,
Mhm.
right? And then I told him, I was like, hey, I don't think we can do it because the weather app says it's gonna rain, right? There was nothing mentioned. First of all, it did not rain Friday, and second of
My
all,
plans got ruined.
yeah, my plan got ruined. And then there was like a whole gust of wind that just came out of nowhere. And so it's so hard to think. You're like, you know what? Like, our mind is just so limited.
Yeah.
You know, our tools and resources are just so limited.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just some things like Taha you were talking about. Like it's just Allah
Mhm.
that happens. You know.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you said, you know, like the logic is the test behind it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not much. I mean, like, I see. Okay, it's just like an additional thing that Allah gives to a human being. People become they transgress against Allah if they have abundant amount of wealth. Sometimes abundant amount of knowledge, for example, like the logic side of them, could also make them go astray as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about atheists, right? I mean, what's their whole premise, right? The whole thing is there can't be a God because we have answers to everything, right? That's their whole thing is, oh, the world wasn't just created. There's a Big Bang theory. I mean, us as Muslims can argue that, right? But in their minds, oh, there was a Big Bang theory. The world happened. Bacterium became animals. Animals became humans, etc., etc. So they don't have like that. They believe in that, but they think, oh well, then how did God create human if this world just did it itself by evolution?
Yeah.
So that's when they lose their faith in God.
Right.
But if they didn't have that, right? It's like, how? Oh, I don't believe in God. Why? They can't. They don't have any rationale behind it, so they can't not believe in a higher power.
Yeah, it's more of them just using examples, honestly.
Yeah.
Like oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. But there was a video that I watched recently. I forgot. I think his name was Ali Dewa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that one.
Yeah, Ali Dewa, and he was answering some questions and all that stuff. And it's like, how do you know that God exists, right? And his answer really kind of made sense, because the thing is, like, everything is dependent on everything else. For example, like plants, they're dependent on oxygen to survive, right? They release CO2, or it's the other way around. Plants get CO2 and then they release oxygen. Humans breathe oxygen. It's a cycle of dependency,
Mhm.
right? Everything, if you can chain everything back in science to something being dependent on other, so there has to be one thing that's not dependent. There has to be one
Subhanallah.
source that's not dependent
That's
on anything.
the power supply.
That's
type
the
of thing.
power
Yeah.
supply, exactly. So, like, what rationale do you have of that? Other like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was there before the Big Bang Theory?
exactly. Yeah. Well, like, what can you date back? What can you date? Like, what? Like he said, like, what is the power source?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
how can you
subhanallah.
how can you say that, even if you say that there's a power source, right? How can you make him dependent on something else?
Yeah.
Then it's just a whole
It's
infinite
just
cycle
a
of dependency.
infinite, ugh.
It doesn't that doesn't make sense, right?
It can't work like that. Yeah.
Not at all, right?
Yeah, it has to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
has to
It
stop
has to
somewhere,
stop
right?
somewhere, bro.
Or it has to start somewhere.
Subhanallah. Yeah.
Yeah.
True facts.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is what nature makes me think of.
Yeah. This is what nature really does.
Yeah, this is why. But
Yeah.
like what, like you guys recorded an episode in at Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Right?
Yeah.
Yosemite. That's like my #1 bucket list.
Oh, man,
Really?
it was
Yosemite?
awesome.
I love Yosemite. I love it. Just
Bro.
seeing pictures of it and
Yeah.
everything like that. And even then, like, like I had a really big Yosemite craze at one point before I went to LA in August, right?
Uh huh.
I was like, man, let's see where we can make it work. Like, let's see where we can go to
Sweet.
Yosemite, right? And then obviously it didn't. We couldn't do that and all that stuff. But inshallah, like, Yosemite is on the bucket list.
Heck yeah,
It
dude.
is on the bucket list.
Heck
But
yeah.
it was, but that I love that episode so much. Just like you guys, like, there's just nature there. There's a
Nature.
creek flowing.
Subhanallah, bro.
It was
Allah
awesome,
did it.
dude. That's awesome.
Me
Subhanallah.
falling in the creek.
Yeah, he fell out the freaking
No
creek, bro. He fell, bro. It was so funny, bro. I had no chill. I had a bag. All of our equipment that we just bought was inside this bag, and I'm jumping over stones, and there's literally a creek behind me. If any
No
of that
way.
stuff fell, gone. But I don't know. I just felt like I could do it, so I did it. Alhamdulillah.
No, you have that invincibility when you're like in nature a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with like when I was going on the cliffside of Doom and of Point Doom. I was like just jumping and all that. I almost slipped and I almost fell in the water.
Oh my
But
god.
I was like, oh shoot, and I just kept doing the same
Yeah,
stupid
yeah,
things I kept doing.
yeah.
It's a natural
Bro.
high.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I have extreme allergies.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay.
I have extreme.
Yeah, I think same though.
Yeah, I have extreme allergies. So the thing is, I was born in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not have allergies there. I came here, my allergies became insane.
That's so weird.
I went over there to LA, my allergies went away.
What?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pollen here. There's a lot. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the humidity and stuff like that. It's like Florida's really dry,
Mm-hmm.
so there's definitely less allergens there.
So I actually brought that up to my ENT, and he said that like sometimes like the ocean breeze can play a factor as well. Just being by
Whoa.
the sea,
That's weird.
since the air is a bit more clear, a
Hmm.
bit more clean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
could also help it could also
Oh.
help that as well.
That is pretty awesome.
It's like
Wow.
a natural like I guess a natural Allegra.
Yeah. Speaking of the sea, they like there's been talk that Shaytaan literally has a throne somewhere in the ocean. Have you heard about that?
Oh my god! If
I
you're
have
going
not.
if this is going where I think it's going,
I mean, I don't know.
The-
Maybe let's
the
see.
Bermuda Triangle, is that what you're talking about?
Maybe, bro. Yeah.
I
I
read
thought
that
about
somewhere.
that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. People like theorizing that like a lot of bad things happen in like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
So is that where like Shaitan's throne is?
So I've always thought that's where the Dajjal is, right? I think he's somewhere
Oh,
on the
that
planet.
too, yeah.
Is it the Dajjal or
Yeah.
the Beast?
The Dajjal,
The
the Dajjal,
Dajjal.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's on an island chained. Yeah.
Right, he's an island
Yeah.
chain. Where the only place we can't get to is the Bermuda Triangle, right? Anytime anyone tries to go there, something
Yeah.
happens.
Something.
And
Oh.
there was like one group of Sahabas that ran into him, and that's all we know.
And I think they described themselves as like getting lost at sea too because of the crazy waves.
Yeah,
and
they didn't even
everything. So
know,
like, could that be?
So
The Dajjal will have access and control to everything.
Yeah.
like,
To
Yeah.
everything.
They say that he's gonna
Right?
enter every single home. This is one of the signs. I think it could be through phones.
It could literally just be this.
Yeah. That's
mean,
what I'm thinking too, bro. What if it is like facts?
just think about it, like, dude, our whole lives are on this thing.
Yeah,
Really,
for real.
everything, like, from the most public thing we post to
Yeah.
like our notes. Sometimes people post
Dude.
private things on their notes, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like these days you can find out anything about anyone,
Yeah.
right? It's so insane. Like no matter what, like the only reason I have an iPhone is because Apple claims that their security is like top tier and
Damn. So you think about that before you purchase?
No,
it?
yeah, I'm a huge
Cool.
privacy guy. Huge privacy guy.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
cool, dude. What do
Yeah.
you think about Google Photos? Because I have Google Photos.
I do not use Google Photos. Crazy thing is, I don't use iCloud actually. I don't use iCloud.
Yeah.
I actually, the thing is that for my photos, I have a separate hard drive for my photos, right? I'm so paranoid about data leaks. I hate data leaks. One time it actually happened in one of my doctor's offices that they had like a data leak.
Oh God.
And I thought it was the end of the world for me. I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna get canceled tomorrow.
What the hell do you have on your
Bro, what you got on your
phone?
For legal purposes, this is a joke. That's what you're supposed to say, right?
You just lied to us on the podcast, guys. It's okay.
Everything is a joke. Everything is a joke. But no, dude, data is just super, like, it's so scary. Oh no, crazy story about a data leak is that I was at work one day, right?
Yeah.
And then my boss called me in. Spoiler: my boss was my dad at that point.
Nice.
So he called me and he's like, Umar, did you file for unemployment?
What?
I'm like, I don't think so. I'm
I
at
might
work.
have accidentally done it.
I'm like, I'm at work. I don't think so. And he handed me the unemployment. It had my social security on there.
Yo, what?
And it had my brother's name on like the name.
What's your social security number, by the way?
Huh?
What's your social security number?
Oh,
by the
it's
way?
actually. I'm glad you guys have the card.
We
right
need
here.
a vivid
Yeah, we-
image
Should I
of
show
what's
this
going on.
camera or this camera?
We gotta know what the exact letter said, just for future reference.
Oh, purposes. Research purposes. That's the worldwide. By the way, gas these days.
Bro,
Gas.
You wouldn't know.
thank God. Alhamdulillah.
Oh my God. One of the reasons I told myself, I'm like, yeah, me and Faraz are gonna get along really well is because he has a Camaro. He had a Camaro.
Yeah.
First time
Oh,
I saw like his Camaro, I'm like, God damn, this guy's living my dream. Dude, your Camaro was so beautiful, bro. So beautiful. When you got rid of it for your Tesla, something hurt a little bit. Something
Something
like-
hurt me too, bro.
Something hurt. I'm like, oh man, why don't you just give it to me, man?
Yeah.
I'll take care of it. I promise. No, but then now looking at it, dude, my dad had we got a truck for my dad, and it cost like $115 to fill the tank up for him. Insane.
I'm paying $90 a week for gas right now. It's ridiculous. I literally took my dad's car. I'm like, I'm driving this for a while. You can drive my car.
By the way, do you have like a charger at home?
I do, yeah.
You do. So like every morning you wake up with a full tank of gas,
Pretty much, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
and that like Tesla is like what's the word? They're they're really like not prideful. What's the word?
Passionate?
Cocky. They're really cocky.
Oh,
right now.
are they?
Yeah, they're really
did not know
cocky
that.
right now. I mean, look at the gas price.
Yeah. Right now, they're laughing at everybody right now.
Yeah, dude.
Man, you know what's funny as heck? I didn't even know how expensive the gas prices were until my cousin was like, "Hey, dude, aren't you happy you got rid of that Camaro right now?" And he sent me a picture of the gas prices. I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know this was happening."
I get like 60 miles a gallon, bro. It's not fun.
No, not at all.
Terrible, bro. Terrible.
You know when the last day in LA, I was me and my friend were filling up the when you return a rental car, you got to fill up the gas, right?
Yeah.
We're filling up. It was like $5.50 a gallon,
Oh my
and
God.
I'm like, man, thank God I live in Houston. I don't have to pay for anything. SubhanAllah, look at this, bro. We have no control over anything, man.
bro.
That's one thing I really miss about California though. Like sometimes at night, like after a long day, I love going around. Like alhamdulillah, like my neighborhood's like it's pretty nice since I have like a bunch of lakes over there.
Mhm.
But like it's nothing compared to like just like pure nature. You know?
Mhm.
Just like the pure like breeze hitting you and all that stuff. Even
Yeah.
when you're like miles away from the ocean. Our hotel was like 10 minutes away from like the ocean, but we still felt that breeze. The air was like super crisp. The temperature was awesome. Like there was no like humidity.
Oh, yeah.
I hate humidity, man. It's like so disgusting.
It's the only thing that ruins things, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only thing that Houston lacks is some nature, but everything else we have, and it's kind of double edged sword, right? You move out to like LA, right, and it becomes unaffordable. You can't live
No, you
there,
can't.
right?
Yeah.
But then here, it's like you're lacking that. But I think it's kind of a good thing that we're lacking that here, because it makes you appreciate it when you go on vacation more.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you live in those areas, like, I mean, you think about it. How many people do you think that live in LA actually enjoy the nature there? No, but they all
No,
go party.
no
Yeah,
one.
right?
No one.
It's just it's nice being there because it's LA, but they don't enjoy the nature. It's because you get used to it.
So unfortunately, it's the same thing in like Saudi, when like Mecca and Medina. People who live there don't like. To them, it's like, oh, I'm going to masjid, like I'm going to the haram today.
Dang,
to
bro,
pray
you think
Isha."
it's like that little to them?
I
Like,
know. I don't think I know because my dad says the same thing. My dad's like like they're just so people who are just so desensitized to that. It's just like a masjid to them, man.
Well, it kind of depends on your iman, right? Like, cause I met in Medina, like I would see these people who were there, like working there every day. Like Fajr, Masjid Nabi was packed,
Oh yeah.
but Zohar, Asr, Maghrib wasn't. So Zohar, Asr wasn't. Maghrib was packed. Isha was packed.
Yeah.
All these people who work in the surrounding areas are going there for all their namazes. I mean, so I think it really depends on the person.
No,
But I mean,
you're right.
Look at us, right? Like, to be honest, I haven't. Other than Jummah, I don't really go to the masjid, which I need to fix. But
Mhm.
we don't. And even though it is a house of Allah, I mean, I don't have any connection to it anymore.
Yeah.
I did when I was a kid. I don't now. But like in Ramadan, you can go there multiple times a day and you feel that energy. So it really depends on you
Yeah.
and your iman at the time of what part of life you are in.
Yeah, that's I mean that's great that you mentioned that because, I was literally just talking to someone about the Ramadan high that people experience. The Ramadan high, dude. One reason I love Ramadan so much, right, is that you kind of get away from all this like toxicity of the world. Like anything that doesn't have to pertain with your iman, you can just cut that out like that, right? It's a bit harder since like when you have like a corporate job, right? You have to wake up at like 9 in the morning and all that stuff. But like when I used to work for my dad, right, things were a bit more flexible. I would like I would have the opportunity to stay up at 4 a.m. read some read the Hajj, go to the masjid and all that stuff, right? And that's the time where I'm like, you know what, like I wish I could live life like this, man. I really wish,
yeah.
It's just so peaceful. Like my connection with Quran isn't that great. I'm like this is just being honest with that. But when I go to the masjid for Tarawih, there's some reciters in Houston, like Imam Ahmad, Hamza Gia, all those people. Their qiraat is just so smooth. I call it smooth like butter, right? It's just so pleasant on the ears. You're just like, man, I wish I could I wish I could just live this lifestyle
Yeah.
every day. It just seems like a peaceful thing. And like Taha, like we were talking about Umrah.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Umrah once. And that was in 2014, right? The first place we went to was we went to Medina first, then Mecca,
Mhm.
right? We actually missed our flight, so we had 2 days less in Medina, right? But when we landed in Medina, it was Fajr time. It was 15 minutes before Fajr. We got to our hotel, we checked in. It was 15 minutes before Fajr. We were like, my dad and our entire family were like, we're so tired. Let's just relax. Let's read Fajr in the hotel and all that stuff. But then for some reason, 5 minutes before the Iqamah happened, my dad was like, let's go. Like, for some reason, like, just some energy
Wow.
rushed into him. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. So then we rushed in, and like in the mosque, like when the masjid's filled, they close the doors, right? We were the last people inside the masjid.
Whoa.
And that was, and I swear, bro, that was one of the most peaceful moments ever. Because it was so surreal. It's like you hear birds chirping in the
SubhanAllah.
masjid. Everyone is
Allahu
dead silent except for this guy who picked up his phone in the middle of the namaz. People actually do that. That's actually that's a thing. People
Wow.
they answer their phones in like the middle of the namaz.
That's so
That was for
weird.
like 5 minutes. But
what
besides
the
that,
frick? They talk in the middle
yeah,
of it?
he's like he was just saying something and all that stuff. And then the imam was like, Allah Akbar. He's like, oh, Assalamu alaikum. He was like,
What?
Allahu Akbar. And I'm like, oh,
That's
okay.
really unique.
Different. I guess a different madhab or something like that.
Yeah, the Fajr namaz adhan hits different.
It's different.
It really like as-salatu khairun minan nawm. It makes you feel like okay, like
Dang, man.
it gives you that little burst of energy because
It
it's
does.
like it's being announced. Like
That's like bone
prayer is
chilling.
better than sleep.
It is, dude.
Yeah.
It is. And the thing is that when you go read Fajr in like Medina, right? You go read Fajr in Medina, and the same thing goes back to like the iman high of Ramadan and all that stuff. I wish I could do that every day, bro. Like, you know, going to the masjid, reading Fajr in the masjid and all that stuff. Like, but unfortunately, I don't have that discipline in me. You know?
Yeah.
It depends, right? Like, I mean, in reality, right? If we could all take a year off and live in Medina, we would do stuff like that because you don't have the pressures of this life, right? I mean, if you had enough money saved up, you didn't need to work anymore. You want to live in Medina for a year. That's what you do. You go to the masjid 5 times a day, pray your namaz, read Quran, because that's you get away from this dunya, right? But when you have to do this dunya and Islam, it becomes a point where like you get burnt out. You're working 8 hours a day. You go to the masjid, takes 30 to 40 minutes each time. I mean, it becomes very difficult. But when you're in Ramadan, the reason why, and most of us, let's be honest, our jobs, we don't work as hard in Ramadan because I nap during lunch every day in Ramadan, right? And that gives me energy for the rest of the day.
For legal purposes, it's a joke, right?
No,
that was a joke, right?
My company knows I nap during lunch.
No, but it's just natural. In Ramadan, you just tend to work less. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, have y'all like when you do sunnah fast outside Ramadan, it's so much more difficult. It's crazy.
Are you talking about like you're talking about fasting?
Like sunnah fast when you you try to do Mondays and Thursdays, you'll be like so tired, and then you do a whole month of Ramadan, you're good. You don't even feel anything.
Do y'all do the fast after Ramadan, the 6 fast of
That's so
Shawwal?
hard. It's so hard to do,
It is
man.
so hard.
I feel like at that moment, my body has already taken such a toll that I'm like, if I do any longer, I'm just gonna collapse.
It's because you take a break. You take a break for Eid, and then it just breaks your like habit.
You eat that biryani and nahari and all that. You're like, oh man, this is life. You know, this is life. And then like finally, like the second half of like like Ramadan, like Shawwal. Yeah, the second half of Shawwal, you're like, all right, gotta do these 6 fasts now, and it's so hard. It is so hard. You're like, oh my god, like how did I do this for 30 days? Dude?
Yeah.
How did I do this for 30
It also helps knowing that everyone else is doing it with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, 'cause, I mean, in Ramadan you don't have a choice, right? It's like I have to, and then at the show I was like, I mean, it's good to, but like, I don't have to, and because Shaytaan comes back and he talks to you like, hey, you know, you already did 30 days. Why don't you do it tomorrow? Start tomorrow. Do your know? And then it becomes a point. Like, last year, like, I'm gonna do the last 6 days. Yeah. Literally, day 6, I forgot, and I'm like, I can't even do it anymore.
So how do you know when Shaytaan is whispering to you, versus it's just thoughts in your head?
I think for me, it's when like, for example, like for like Isha namaz, my family likes to do it at the masjid.
MashaAllah.
And then there's I think it's when we all feel lazy. We all feel like lazy and all that stuff. At the end of a long day, right? You work, you're like you said, you're burnt out and everything like that. Even going to a masjid 5 minutes away, it's literally like you have bricks attached to your legs and all that stuff. So I feel like that's what I mean. Anything that I feel as if like that's taking me away from like not doing something which I know will boost my iman or that'll make me do something good. I feel like that's when Shaytaan whispers in my ear. Personally.
Yeah, I think Shaytaan's whispering constantly. He's constantly trying to like make slip up a little bit. So I was like, hey man, pray a little bit later. You're trying right now, pray in 5 minutes. Even if you do pray in 5 minutes, it delays your namaz 5 minutes and reduces the sawab.
Yeah.
Even all small things, and I mean, I'm a lazy guy. Like, I'm really a lazy guy. So for me, I mean,
no doubt, me too.
I mean, I'm fighting that constantly. But you realize in Ramadan you don't have that. And when you realize how different your life is pre-Ramadan and during Ramadan, you'll see all the time Shaytaan is whispering in your ears. At that point, he's not, and then you'll see the difference between your habits and Shaytaan.
Is there ever a time where you can like seriously like just like sit there and be like, this thought came in your mind, and you'll be like, no, that's just Shaytaan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like that's so hard to detect.
No, especially with namaz. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like especially for namaz, right? It's like actually sometimes like for example like a couple days ago, like I was just so focused into work. There was just so much going on at work, right? And like there was a notification that popped on my phone. I have notifications that like there's like 10 minutes left in the namaz, right?
Yeah, same.
It just popped up like that. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't read Asr. Like, but that's like I feel like that's a subconscious thing. That's like that's Shaytaan whispers into you, like, yeah, you gotta work, just put it in. oh, you gotta finish this first, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
all that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I guess that
That
like
happens
that
to
yeah
me. That
that's something
happens
like
to
that.
me.
But I feel like when I'm sitting down, especially when you're going to the masjid,
Mm.
like when you're like I don't know, and also I'm like, oh nope, that's Shaytaan. Like let's get up and
Yeah.
let's go. Also.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Sometimes it's very hard to like just pinpoint and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like, in a sense, it's your bodily desires that are shaitan. Honestly, that's what it could be. It's just all the desires that you have. You know, the lazy feeling. It
Yeah.
feels good to freaking sit back and relax when you're feeling lazy.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And also whenever I'm in like in the middle of like the zone, like what you're saying,
Mhm.
and like the prayer is getting delayed, I sometimes think I'm like, well, okay, I'm like in the zone right now. Once I get out of this zone, then I'll go pray namaz.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm gonna break through this thing, and it's so freaking weird. Shaitan makes you like super focused at that moment on your work.
And then you get a call from your boss that you normally can hit. Hey, I'll call you later, but then you feel pressure to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's just so
I-
much stuff.
Yeah, he almost like makes this life seem more important than the prayer. I think that's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
that's his job.
See, another point I can pinpoint is Fajr.
Yeah, man, Fajr's hard.
Oh my god, like just getting the blanket off of you
That's hard,
like, at Fajr time.
It's hard, bro.
It's like taking a stone off your
Yeah,
chest.
facts.
Dude.
And it's also hard, especially when you're like going to sleep late, bro.
Isha too, dude. Because Isha's the namaz you can delay the longest.
Oh yeah.
Because you can
Yeah.
do it, I'll pray before I go to
So
sleep,
true.
right? It's like, because it doesn't get qaza until like 2, 3 a.m., right?
Yeah.
So you're sitting there, okay, I'll pray later, I'll pray later. And then you go to bed when you're dead tired. You lay down in bed and you're like, I didn't read Isha. And when you're in bed, you have that weight on your chest because you're tired as heck.
Oh my god.
Getting on praying Isha. And that's why, like, there's a hadith that says, Isha and Fajr are the hardest namazes for the hypocrites.
Yeah. This episode for Taha Theory is sponsored by Simra's Tips.
Oh, we should record that. That's fine.
No, but she's totally right.
Yeah.
Like especially I feel like it was much easier when the time the time changed today, so it's a bit more difficult to do
Oh, yeah.
that. But like now when it's like gapped together, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Like for me, namaz was so much easier when everything was gapped together. Like yeah, one wuzu, it's like Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha.
So like think about this. I was thinking about this and I wasn't sure about this, and it really freaking scares me. Astaghfirullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how every soul on the day of judgment, astaghfirullah, will have any good that they did in this world, and in some narrations say that any bad that they had, that any evil that they did in this world, presented in front of them, basically, like they'll be accompanied with their deeds,
Right.
and they'll want the deeds to be far, far away. So I started thinking, man, if like we commit a sin here and we ask Allah for forgiveness, does Allah eliminate that completely in this world so that when we go in the day of judgment, that's not even written anywhere? Or is it, astaghfirullah, the fact that it's still written because you did it, but Allah will forgive you on the day of judgment?
Well, there is a hadith that says if you repent, I think within the next prayer time or something like that, then it gets erased as if it was never done.
So I love talking about Allah's mercy.
Yeah.
I love it so much
Love it.
because as a person, as humans, we're just so mistake prone, right? It's like, we sin, and that's like disobeying Allah, right? But the thing is, like, Allah, His first two names are Rahman or Rahim. It's like it's so beautiful. Like just mercy is like his
Like
his-
first
yeah,
first
his
way to
first-
introduce himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just there was also one hadith that I read about, was that when you commit a sin, well, let me start with the good. When you commit like a righteous thing, and like, hopefully I'm not saying this wrong, like, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but if you do something good, the angel, the right shoulder, immediately writes it down,
Subhanallah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you do something
Oh, yeah.
wrong, and Allah tells the angel of the left shoulder to hold on,
Yeah.
he'll, like, let's see if he repents.
Subhanallah, bro.
So me, that's just like, wow. And then
Allahu
once you
Akbar.
repent, it's as if nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's like turning a blind eye.
So
For real, it's literally like literally, Allah put us here, and Allah literally saying, bro, it's fine if you make a mistake. The whole idea is just repent.
Just repent.
Just
that's
repent.
it. It's so easy.
It's about humility, I feel like. In the end, it's about humility. Understanding that I'm a flawed creature, I'm a flawed individual, and Allah is the one who's perfect.
Of course.
So like, I mean, we always say, you know, Allah is the most merciful. Like His mercy is never ending, right? But that's kind of demotivating in a sense, right? For
People
somebody.
can take advantage of that.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
the thing.
yeah, man, I don't feel like praying. Oh, Allah forgive me. I'm just not gonna pray. So when does it become where it's like, I mean, Allah's mercy doesn't have a limit, but like, is there like a limit to it?
For me, no,
Do you get the question?
no, I definitely get the question, but so the way I see it in that sense, right? If people like, I don't think anyone can take advantage of Allah's mercy. Like that, I don't think that's possible because it matters about like Allah knows your heart, right? For example, like someone's like, oh, I'll just commit this, Allah will forgive me right away. Allah knows that's not sincere, or maybe it could be sincere.
SubhanAllah.
Like us as humans, like we're just so limited in what we can judge.
Yeah.
We judge off maybe the five senses. We judge off what we know in the past and all that stuff. But we can't actually look at someone's like heart. We can't open someone's heart and we can be like, oh, this guy is sincere. So Allah has that. Allah has that ability to see.
Mm-hmm.
So even though us humans, we can think of it as like we can take advantage of Allah's mercy, but I don't think we can. I really don't think so.
Yeah. So I want to get your opinion on this. So like, we don't have necessarily all the answers of what's right and what's wrong. So when we do an action, and if we have like fear that it's wrong, and we do that action, but we don't necessarily feel it's wrong, we just fear that it is wrong. How do we know we're not convincing ourselves that what we're doing is actually correct, and we've kind of intentionally, subconsciously pushed the idea of it being haram?
Just brush it
Yeah,
aside.
and just like, oh no, it's halal. Like everything is okay. Everything's.
I feel so. I'm gonna answer with a bit of like a story that I've heard. Right? It's just so a story I kind of heard was that one time there's imam. I don't know if it's true.
Okay.
But it's a good lesson. The imam one day he was leading namaz, and just one time one time he was reading namaz, he broke his wudu mid prayer, but he just kept going. He feared it's kind of embarrassing. You turn around, you're like, hey, guys, I broke my wudu, all that stuff. But he just kept going, and he's like, you know what, like nothing happened.
Allah.
And then he just he just did it again.
Yeah.
It's already broken my little part again.
Yeah.
Be alone at ease while I'm praying namaz, bro.
The guy behind him was like, oh my god.
Yeah. But slowly that added up to the point where he didn't think it was wrong.
Wow.
Right? He didn't think it was wrong, right?
Yep.
And then he went to he went to one of his other friends who was also like an imam. He's like, yeah, this happened. There was no consequences. When you don't see consequences in front of you at first, you just keep doing it until some consequence happened. And then he told other imam, he's like, hey, this is what happened. Nothing nothing happened to me after that. He's like, yeah, something did happen to you. He's like, what are you talking about? He was like, your iman got lower.
Allahu Akbar.
That's true.
So I feel like that's more of like an indication of working on your iman, right?
Dang.
I feel like guilt is one of the strongest feelings of iman.
Subhanallah.
I feel like when you do something bad or even when you think something. Again, the mic.
Man, we're not buying you the mic. Order another mic.
Simra, hop on Amazon, just build to me.
We're trying to break the mic.
I just keep hitting the mic, I'm very expressive, I use my hands a lot. So it's like, I'm just like whacking. I'm a whacking, it's gonna fly over there. Then it's like Umar's banned off for Taha theory, But yeah, it's just I feel like guilt is such a good indicator. It's to the point where some things that I know, I know that are permissible, is not permissible, or some things that I don't know about. Yeah. Right. Sometimes you feel that guilt. Yeah. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it just to be safe. And I feel like that's a sign of ego, right?
Yeah, I feel like that too. So there's a story about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His wife found out that he was drinking honey from his other wife, and he was spending extra 5 minutes or something like that. And then she got a little jealous or something. That's what I've heard. Okay, from the I think hadith. But anyway, so were you
reading it because you were thinking of a second one? She has her AirPods in, so I can say that.
So then she says, "What's that smell?" And he's like, "Oh, I ate honey. This is this." And I don't like the smell. And he says, "I'll never eat it again." And then Allah revealed an ayah in the Quran saying like, "O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, why would you prohibit yourself? Basically, make something haram for yourself that I made halal, even though I am the most forgiving, most merciful." You know, you can take it as many different ways, and like, wow, subhanallah, thing, like Allah is so amazing. But is that right? Like, if something is, I mean, honey is a big blessing.
Yeah,
Honey is a big blessing. I love honey.
Mm.
If I were to stop such a big blessing of my life because there's doubt in something, like, or maybe Simra, for example, doesn't like it, and I stop eating honey, is that in a sense blocking off the blessing Allah gave you of having that blessing in your life?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you're an amazing guy, mashallah. Imagine if we're trying to be friends and I say like, no, I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Like I'm missing out on something immense. Something immense. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you catch what I'm saying? Like, is that wrong? almost?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get what you're saying. I think like personally from what I understood from that story is that, you know, like Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and in every sense, alhamdulillah, like every story that you hear of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, every story that you hear of everything like that is a lesson, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, I felt like as if like, you know, maybe Allah was telling him, don't say I'll cut it off. Maybe I won't
Subhanallah.
like do
Allahu
it with my
Akbar.
wife, you know?
Yeah,
Like maybe I'll
facts.
like, you know, like clean up, make the smell
Yeah.
go away and all that stuff, right?
Dang.
I'll do it on
That's
days when I'm not
true.
coming to visit you.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
But like
true.
cutting it off, that's the same thing as like veganism. I think veganism is
Okay.
totally wrong Islamically.
Oh, mashallah. Okay.
Because you're I mean you're taking away ni'mah of Allah.
Allah.
What you make halal, right?
Facts. Bro, that's so true.
So what I've heard about that is
Sheesh.
it's okay. And so what I've heard is it's okay unless you believe that you are better than somebody else who's not vegan.
Hmm.
That's when it becomes wrong because you're taking away. I mean, eating meat is sunnah, right? Doing zabiha, we do that. Okay,
Of course.
So if you think you're better than that, when Allah's prescribed that on you, that's when you're committing the sin.
Yeah, I mean, I think vegans do take a lot of pride in what they do.
They do.
But
Yeah.
that's really interesting that you said it. It's almost as if like Allah is talking about the extreme levels. You know?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, bro. You feel free to do it.
No,
It's all
it was
good.
it was mom. You can't
You
you
can't-
can't
you can't,
you can't
right.
ghost mom, you know?
She's gonna hit me for this then.
She's like, who are you with? who's the lurky? You know?
Yeah, but in a sense, it's almost like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that meaning, that way you took from it, it's almost like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, don't be extreme in cutting it off.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Don't
for
just
sure.
prohibit it from yourself. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can take other measures to.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So what do you do about stuff that's like conflicting, right? Like zabiha, non-zabiha, right? For example, right? I mean,
Yeah.
What do you do there? Because you got imam saying both. So like, what do you even do at that point?
I think personally you just go with the safest option, honestly. Cause like, you know, like and I know what you're gonna say. You're like, you know what, like both sides seem safe, right? Because on one side there's like like, you know, the population is so big, you have to automate that process, right? But I also think like Islam is not a deen that can be like, you know, that changes over time,
It doesn't, yeah.
right? Islam is something that once it was presented, it can
Responsible.
qualify for any time period
Allah.
in a sense, right? And this is not something. This is not saying that, hey, you know, I'm not a scholar, right?
Okay.
I'm not a scholar, but I don't eat like, you know, machine cut. I only eat like, you know, anything that's hand cut and all
Wow.
that stuff. But that's just what I believe. That's what I interpret from the hadith and all that stuff, right? I could very well, you know, I don't look at people and just say, you know, hey, you know, that's haram. You're
Yeah,
wrong.
Yeah,
completely
Simran, what
wrong.
the hell are you eating over there?
Chick-fil-A.
Sliders right now, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you know, I feel like it becomes a problem when you start like
Yeah.
pointing fingers, judging people. You know?
So do you think it's like almost a personal interpretation? Like, I'll give an example. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says it in the Quran that for believers, he gives them a sense of right and wrong in
Yeah.
their actions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to say, you know, that thing you were talking about, guilt? I think that's when you feel the sense of, oh, what I'm doing is wrong. Sometimes I say something and I'm like, I feel that guilt. I don't know why, but okay. And you kind of repent. So could it come down to like, that's your personal test and my personal test, like different scholars, for example. One says it's haram, one says it's halal. Could it be just that specific person's test for them to believe it's haram, and then this person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, it's fine, you can eat it, kind of deal?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think any test that person gives is like. I don't think there's one test that everyone gets.
Yeah, because
Everyone-
everyone's living in their own universe.
Exactly
bro.
right. Like like you're married.
Yeah,
That's your test.
that's a big test, bro. Alhamdulillah,
Me
don't have that
and
test
you
right
know,
now.
me and Taha aren't married, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that could be our test, like
Yeah.
like alhamdulillah, you like you're married, you have like you completed half your deen, you have like mashallah, you have now you have you go through life with that person, right?
Mhm.
Like, and then me and Taha, our test is like maybe Allah's like you have to have sabr,
Mhm.
you have to just
And stay away from all the other women that are
you gotta stay
running
away
after
from the
you,
women,
bro.
man. You gotta stay away from all
That's
these.
hard, bro.
Yeah, but no, but that's goes
Yeah.
back to your test, like I don't like we don't know what the test is, right? We can only
Yeah.
infer what our tests are and
Subhanallah.
all that stuff. But it's about just having the sabr
Subhanallah.
going through and all that stuff.
That reminds me, like, just like what you're saying, it's like everyone's literally on their own, like, route. They're on their own trail, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm praying Jummah namaz and I put my head on the ground, we're all doing sujood. Sometimes in the back of my mind, I think, dude, how beautiful is it from thinking of it from a higher perspective, like, all these Muslims, mashallah, like they're all face on the floor praising Allah, like subhanallah, like what a beautiful thing. But then when I think like that, I feel like I'm just one of many, 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 many.
Yeah.
But if I think of it like, bro, like I'm in my own universe. I have a special connection with Allah. When I'm on the day of judgment, Allah's not gonna group people and judge them together.
No.
Allah's gonna astaghfirullah. He's gonna judge each and every single individual.
So scary.
Astaghfirullah.
Every second of your life.
So I'm like, yeah, astaghfirullah. So I was like, so if I'm in sujood, although I'm with several of these people, that's not gonna help me, bro. I have to stand alone on the day of
Alone.
judgment to Allah
Yeah.
and tell Him, yeah, I did sujood to you, and like, and every
It's chilling,
every human being has to do that.
It's chilling.
Every freaking human being.
It's such a chilling feeling, dude. Because the thing is, as humans, right? We like it's human nature that we value companionship.
Yeah.
Right. We value being accepted by others. We value having others like friends. Having a spouse. In our case, 4 spouses. But but we just value companionship in general. Thinking of just you
Astaghfirullah.
standing alone with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and He's judging you.
Astaghfirullah.
That to me, bro, that's like that just makes me want to like run right now and just like stay in the masjid. I don't know about y'all. It's such a scary feeling because, dude, if I'm and the craziest thing is going back to Allah's mercy is that Allah is gonna be so rageful that day. The seas are gonna be fire. The beautiful ocean, the Pacific Ocean we love is gonna be fire.
Astaghfirullah.
Right? Just think about that and also. But even then, Allah will still cover your sins
Allah.
If you cover other sins.
if you cover other people's sins.
Tell me someone's sin that you do so I can not tell anybody.
Look at this cheat code, bro. Look at this cheat code.
I got a few sins. Taha's got a few sins on me.
Off the air though. Off the air.
Even on the day of judgment. Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, man.
There's something I wanted to say on that. Do you have anything to say on that? I was gonna say something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a story about there's this man who is he's been told he's going to Jahannam, right? So the angels start grabbing him and dragging him to Jannah, and he yells out to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and I was like, oh Allah, don't let me go, or help me. And Allah asks him, did you not sin in the world? Did you not know what you're doing was wrong? He's like, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I had faith in your mercy and that you would forgive me. And Allah asked the angels to let him go and said, my servant has relied on my mercy, so I'll be merciful to him, and allows him to Jannah.
Subhanallah.
This is a man who was being dragged down to hell. I said, I thought you would forgive me.
So I have like 2 different like ideas of what the day of judgment could be, understanding that I know nothing, right? In Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes about how there's going to be 2 different groups of people, basically. Some that wake up on the day of judgment, astaghfirullah. Imagine the scene first and foremost. You're coming out of your freaking graves, bro.
Literally, like when I first learned about the Day of Judgment when I was like 6 or 7 years old in Madrasa Islamia,
Allahu Akbar.
and my aunt lived in the apartments next door. And when they described everything to me, I was like, my legs were literally shaking walking to my aunt's apartment. Like, man, I was like, is
Astaghfirullah.
this like crazy? But
Like,
yeah, go on.
how can we even live in the world knowing that there's a day of judgment? Wallahi, bro.
yeah,
Wallahi, bro.
we put it in our back of our minds, man.
Bro,
Honestly.
I think intentionally, because I don't know how we can live life knowing that there's a
every
day
time
hereafter.
I think about it, I just remember being just like a little kid, just like being so
Wow.
scared about it
Wow, subhanallah.
and all that.
Subhanallah.
And just like, just thinking about all, like my entire life, like, like you can't compare yourself with the Sahaba at all, not at all, right? So like, even them being so scared of the day of judgment, of being so scared, even the people who are guaranteed Jannah, like, like the 10 who were guaranteed
Mhm.
Jannah, right? Even they were so scared,
Man.
right?
It's so crazy. Like Osman bin
It's
Affan
trippy.
radhiyallahu anhu, he was guaranteed paradise, right, for one day, and then Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said,
Sallallahu
if you
alayhi
don't,
wasallam.
if you buy this well for the Muslim Ummah, I'll guarantee you paradise. So he's already guaranteed paradise, and he did it. He donated money to buy the well, so he guaranteed paradise again. And then they were funding for a war, and he said the same thing: whoever funds this war will be guaranteed paradise.
Yeah.
He did it for a third time, donated his entire wealth. But these people were so scared when they were guaranteed, they still weren't satisfied.
Not at
They
all.
still wanted more assurances, so they kept working towards more guarantees, and that's crazy to me.
Just the work that they put in, man, and all, like, it just like it reminds me of like what they gave up,
Mhm.
like the amount of things they gave up. There was a story about the drought,
Mhm.
where like Prophet ﷺ said, just bring whatever you can so that we can pile it up and we can just use it together, right?
Mhm.
And then you had Umar radiallahu anhu. He came and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna bring half of everything I had, half of everything. He bought it there. He bought it and all that stuff. And then Subhanallah, then he saw Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu come in. He
Mhm.
bought everything he had.
Yeah.
Everything he had, man. He did they did not care about this world, man. They did not care at all.
Yeah. So to add to that, right? So when I think it was for funding for one of the wars, right? And so Umar radhiyallahu anhu came and he gave half his wealth, and Rasulullah said, "Hey, what did you leave for your wife and kids? Your wives and
Yeah.
your kids?" He said, "Oh, I left them half. I gave you half my wealth. I left them half my wealth." And Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu came and he gave all his wealth, and Rasulullah asked him, what did you leave for your wife and your kids? He said, "Oh, I left my wife and kids, Rasulullah and Allah and Rasulullah."
Yeah.
Like they had that much. Like, imagine working all your life and just because we all want wealth. We all want that security, right?
Right.
But these guys didn't care. Like, Allah will take care of us. They donated their entire wealth. Uthman did it 3 times.
Oh
He
yeah.
went from rich to nothing 3 times.
Man, just it's like their stories are just so inspiring, honestly. But like, I asked a lot of people this, and I'm gonna ask you this as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Umrah, because that place, that city is just so many things that just happen. So many experiences you feel, because not only is it your emotional experience, it's more spiritual as well. So, do you remember the first time you went to like Mecca or Medina, and what did you feel?
Okay, so I don't remember the first time because I've been Alhamdulillah like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. But I remember the time I went in 2019. 2019, and that's when I feel like I really became Muslim. I think before that it was just I was
Wow. Imagine that.
I was
becoming Muslim.
like you know how like there's cultural Jews and there's religious Jews, right? And I
Yeah.
felt like I was a cultural Muslim where I didn't have the Muslims, my family was Muslim, but I really didn't pray, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I remember going there and I'm like, man,
Water in the chai.
It's too strong, bro. Way too strong.
I remember getting to Medina and feeling my heart just open up. It was it felt like a gush of air inside of me where it opened up, where I felt like I had this like cloudiness in my body, in my brain that just opened up. And walking up to the masjid, and it just, every step you felt like this empowerment. And you felt like, dude, why am I not praying like other namaz? Why am I barely praying the 5 daily prayers? Like, it felt like you were, no matter what you've done in your life, you've underachieved, and now you can feel so much more. And then so Medina was incredible. You know, seeing the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Everyone's so nice over there too.
Dude, they are. But you know the craziest thing? Did you remember in Medina, right? There's this guy who's standing and telling you to move along right in front of the.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
Why is that?
It's actually because they are trying to avoid bid'ah.
Wow.
Because there's so many people who are standing there and pray to him. So they're limiting the time that you can stand there. So you just have like all you have time to say is As-salatu wassalamu ya Rasulullah, As-salatu wassalamu ya Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
They're protecting the shirk, bro.
Yeah.
That's
And then they push you along. And you know, my mom told me this time, the women don't even get to see, you know, what we see when we go there, we see like the grave and we see that they don't see that. They're not
Really?
allowed to go there.
Really?
They you know like where Riyaz al-Jannah is?
Mhm.
They can only stand there and say salam.
Oh wow.
And that is
who, the women?
Yeah, the woman. So they can't see, they don't see what we see. And they even point him in the wrong direction. So my mom asked the girl, "Where is it?" And she told him it was straight. And my mom's like, and I'm like, "No, it's not straight. It's to your left. That's where his grave is."
Okay.
And it's because they say that women are more likely to commit shirk.
wow. I think
Yeah.
it's more of an emotional,
More of an emotional
emotional
thing.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, think about it. Like the more logical you are, the more likelihood that you're not gonna commit shirk.
Yeah. Oh.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
And there's like, if you look, there's so much stuff that happens in Makkah and Medina that like blow your mind. You know, if you go to Jannat al-Baqi, the graveyard in
Oh,
Medina,
man.
it's the most peaceful place in the world.
It is. It really
Like
is.
I've
Truly.
never felt walked into a graveyard and been like felt like this cooling presence.
Yeah. You go to a graveyard and you're like, oh my god, like these are people that were here before. You know.
Subhanallah, bro. The companions, bro.
Companions, man.
But if you ask for the companions' graves, nobody will tell you where they are.
They won't.
If you ask somebody, "Hey, where's Aisha Adam's grave? Who worked there?"
Oh, they don't know because
no,
it's like,
they know.
oh, they know.
They
Okay.
know, but they won't tell you because there are people who hate her, and
Oh my
that
gosh,
will do
astaghfirullah.
stuff to her grave.
Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. You know, one story about John the Baqi that I thought was insane. So the prophet knew about John the Baqi and everything.
Mhm.
What is that? Like, what?
It's a graveyard in Medina that has it's a
All
very
the Sahabas?
no, it's very special because Rasulullah said
Sallallahu
If-
alaihi.
you are about to die, go to Medina and get buried there. Die in Medina, because anybody who's buried in Jannat al-Baqi, I will intercede for them on the day of judgment.
Wow.
So one story about it. One story about it is about Sayyidina Usman radhiyallahu anhu.
Mhm.
So when he got assassinated, right?
Mhm.
The people who assassinated him, they made it like their mission. They're like, we're gonna bury him outside of Jannat al-Baqi, you know, as a disrespect. Obviously, you know, first of all, you kill like one of Rasulullah's closest, you know, like circle, and then you bury him outside. You try to bury him outside Jannat al-Baqi, right? So then I don't remember the exact specific story, but basically, like, you know, I think they got confused or something like that. So they found us. So they found a spot that, okay, we're gonna bury him here, right? And they didn't know it, but they buried him in the heart of Jannat al-Baqi.
Oh, Allahu Akbar, bro.
It was-
Come on.
I was like, man, the mercy,
They plan and
the
Allah
mercy
plans.
of Allah,
Allah.
wild. And you know something that Taha said that really resonated with me was you went to Umrah in 2019 and you felt like that's when you actually became Muslim.
So I think I became Muslim before that, but that's like the first time I went with like Iman in my heart, and it
Right.
felt so different being there.
Wow.
Like, I've been there before, and it was like, it was cool, it was nice. But man, when I went there with Iman, like I had so much energy. Like, literally, I was at the masjid all night doing tawaf, doing multiple umrahs, and it was like never tiring. When I went before that, you know, like it was kind of literally like, one of the times I went, I literally watched TV in my hotel room at times, you know.
Yeah,
So it was so different going there after you found Islam.
yeah.
Truly, when you truly believe, it's different.
I believe that, you know, especially with people like us who were born Muslim and that grew up Muslim, right? I believe that we're not like, how do I say this in a way where it doesn't sound like bad, but I feel like we find Islam too. Like we have to find Islam.
Facts, bro. 100%.
That's like, you know, like I think it's just like, it's like when we grow up with Islam, it's so desensitized, right?
100%.
It's like,
bro.
oh, it's Islam, you know, it's
Yeah.
what we believe in,
It's
you know.
just
So,
a way of
but
life.
when you actually like look into it, and the thing is, like a lot of people don't study Islam. They don't look into Islam. They don't actually like do
Question their religion.
I think if you don't question your religion,
Allah.
then like how can you
Bismillah.
actually know, right?
I mean,
Subhanallah.
that's
That's
like
so
one
true, bro.
of the most crazy things. If you go to Pakistan, right, everybody in America is has so much more Islamic knowledge than they would do in Pakistan.
Right.
And it's a crazy because you would expect, right, it to be part of their day-to-day learning, but
It becomes like a culture.
the fact is, since we live in a Christian majority country, we have to know our religion very, very, very well.
Right.
If you don't, you'll go astray.
No.
But over
yeah.
there, it's like everything's status quo, right? I mean, like, oh, you're gonna live in a Muslim country. You only eat the biha, right? There's no bacon, like like there's namaz is going on every time, all day, right? So you don't necessarily learn that.
Yeah, for sure. And just back to the test,
Yeah.
that's our test in
Yeah.
a sense, where I feel like us growing up in this generation, right? Us growing up like Gen Z millennials and all that. I feel like we live in like Taha said, we live in such a society where Islam is just like so the opposite. Like this country actually like it makes you go away from it, honestly. Like,
It's a-
Islam,
yeah,
like the norm is that
Total
if you're
opposite.
like if you read 5 times a day,
Yeah.
you're too religious.
Yeah.
And that's the bare minimum.
Allah.
That is the bare minimum of being a
Astaghfirullah.
Muslim, right? If you don't if you're away from your namaz, right, you honestly see like your life crumble a bit.
Yeah.
You feel like there's people that I've seen that went from 5 days namaz to like struggling with their namaz, and they say like I don't have peace in my life,
Yeah. Yep.
and I think that's like those 5-10 minutes where you pray namaz, it should be an escape from everything, right? People
From the world.
like
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. I rush through namazes. I thought Apple was like great with their battery.
I guess not.
I guess
Not when they're
not.
recording, I guess. Yeah. Hold on 2 seconds. So I guess we can finish off with your point about haram relationships.
Yeah, no. So like things are haram, like we said, for a reason, right? And even I look at like celebrities and all that stuff. Like when people find out that someone else has been in a relationship before them, it kind of hurts a bit, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely.
Because relationships are about exclusivity.
Yeah.
Exclusivity. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Yeah, exclusivity. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, it's you want that person for you, right? And
Yeah.
thinking about like they've been like intimate, like not like physically, but like
But anything,
anything,
Yeah.
like share their secrets or anything like that. And like that's kind of I guess that's kind of why Allah's like just stay away from that type of stuff. If you really want something, make it halal.
Yeah. I think one common mistake about why people even enter into haram relationships is either obviously we're going to talk about the people who have bad intentions, then people who just have bad intentions. That's no brainer right there.
Yeah.
But the people who actually genuinely make a mistake when they go into these like boyfriend girlfriend things and they think they're like future person, I think a lot of that has to do with the hastiness behind it. They're in a rush to find their person
Yeah.
that they just see any type of sign, they rush into it rather than actually like taking a step and really evaluating everything before hopping into it.
See, I don't know, cause it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I mean, back in the day, there was like a lot more easiness in it. I mean, now you kind of have to talk to someone in that relationship before you get married. I mean, like now people are much more evil. There's a lot, and there's so many more conflicts, so many different points of views, right? So like, I feel like you kind of have to have those conversations. You kind of have to date for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, but there's a halal way of interacting and a
Yeah.
haram way of interacting.
I mean, if you look at it strictly from an Islamic standpoint, right? You talk to them a couple of times and then you move forward, right? But I don't think you can do that anymore in today's world.
Well, I don't think there's a number of how many times you're supposed to talk to someone before you're like. I don't think there's an Islamic number. Okay, talk to them 2 times. If they're not that bad in 2 times, then you can do it.
I mean, but you can't talk to them without a mahram present, right? For the girl, that's the Islamic way.
I think you can also talk in public, right? That's what I heard.
I think a mahram
Yeah,
has to be
I
present.
think I don't think there's an issue about that. I don't think there's an issue with that.
Yeah.
Really, I've heard a mahram has to be like, Islamically.
No, yeah, no, I've heard that too. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that either, but I just know that in like you can't talk in private. That's what I've heard.
Right, but then it becomes like texting a girl is I mean that's private as you get, right? And I mean you can't really have a relationship nowadays without texting.
Yeah.
So it becomes very difficult to stand by the book and get married in today's society.
Yeah,
Well-
I see that and I agree with that, right? But I
Mhm.
also feel like that there's like I feel like what I'm talking about more is about people acting married
Yeah,
when they're dating,
that's facts.
right? That's like I feel like Taha, you're 100% right because things are more complicated these days. The society that we live in, right? It's so hard to find someone like with the same base as you, right? Once you have that base and you establish, you're like, you know what, I want to push this further. Like, let's see, like let's talk, let's get a little more serious and all stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But then when like these days, like celebrities and people, all that stuff, they start living together before they're married. You know?
They're like, why are they acting married?
Yeah,
but they're not getting
why,
married.
Like why are you acting married, bro? Like get it
Yeah.
official. And the thing is that there's also the culture of you can break things off like this.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah.
easier break. It's the ease of breaking.
The lack of commitment.
Exactly.
You know?
You're kind of setting yourself up for failure, or disappointment in a sense.
True, 100%.
Right?
100%.
Because I also feel like a lot of like back to the whole Islamic discipline and Islamic rules, and Taha said earlier that Ramadan forces you to fast. Why? To create a sense of discipline, to kind of like put your nafs down and say, you know what, Allah is making me do this for a betterment.
That's true.
I have to do this, right?
SubhanAllah.
And all that stuff. And but it's kind of like how you look at it.
Yeah.
You can look at it from that perspective, or you can be like, Islam is such a constructive religion, or it's like, it's like choking me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
why do I have to do this, right?
Yeah.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life. I love the way you said that. It's just a way of life.
Yeah, it's a way of life,
It brightens your life up. It
Alhamdulillah,
helps you physically in your body by the fasting and all that, and it just it's a way of life to improve your life.
Yeah, for sure.
SubhanAllah, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much negativity about Islam. Astaghfirullah,
Astaghfirullah.
especially in this day of age. I love having these talks, connecting life with Islam.
Yeah, SubhanAllah. Yeah.
Not only does it make you appreciate your religion more, it just makes you appreciate life more, man.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Um,
It's a blessed thing. This life is real talk. Hey, Allah
For
gave
real.
it.
For real.
Allah gave it.
This life can be a blessing if you make it to. It
Yeah.
can also be
be a-
hell if you make it to as well.
Astaghfirullah, bro. Astaghfirullah. I love it, bro. Okay, I think we'll just cancel it right there. End it right there, not cancel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, but let's shake hands. We got to make it official like. Love you, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so
for
much.
having me, man.
Of
That's
course,
awesome.
my bro. I love you, bro.
Thank you. Love
I've
you
been
too.
wanting to have you for a while, so it's really cool.
For sure, man. I've been wanting to hang out with this guy ever since I saw like an Instagram post of him like praying on a masjid, not on a masjid, a mountain. That little thing. I'm like, you know
On
what?
top of the masjid.
On top of the
dome,
masjid. That's completely normal.
on the mimbar.
On
Yeah.
the-
I was telling,
like you go to the imam. Excuse me. Let me pray real quick.
yeah, I was telling Taha that's funny. It's really cool. This like our first time actually interacting with each other, like for real.
Insane. Yeah. Insane.
That's really cool, subhanAllah.
No, but it's pretty crazy how like I remember when I asked you a question, right, on one of the Q&As and all that stuff, and you're like, I've never met, like we
Yeah,
never
subhanAllah.
hung out, right? But
Yeah.
I feel a connection. I'm like, you know what?
Subhanallah.
Yeah, bro.
That's
It's
true.
so rare.
Allahu
It's so
Akbar.
rare
It's
for
so
stuff like
rare.
that, right?
It's so rare.
I think it just shows like not the iman, but like I guess like when you have like the love of Allah between
Allah.
each other, when you love someone for the sake of Allah,
Yeah, subhanAllah.
it kind of shows, right?
Allahu Akbar. This is
Good conversation, good chai,
subhanAllah.
and better.
Subhanallah. I'm thinking about that what you said. Yeah. It's almost like you just somehow have this love between one another, but you don't know why. And I feel like it's because the love that each individual has for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the souls are speaking to one another.
Oh yeah.
The words
yeah.
don't have to say, the words don't have to have
They
any,
don't have to, dude. They
but
don't
the
have to.
souls somehow are noticing about the other individual that our logic can't, our intellect can't. I don't know why the freak I loved you. I love him like a brother. Wallahi, I
For
do.
sure. No, well, same here, bro. Wallahi.
Allahu Akbar. Jazakallah khair, bro. I really
And
appreciate that.
You know,
bro.
when in LA, I was running out of time for Usher, right? And we were driving. Me and my friend were driving to Malibu. We were going to Griffith, right? So we were driving, and I realized I was like, man, I'm running out of time for Usher. So then we pulled the car aside, and literally it was on a mountain.
Allahu
It was on a mountain, and we didn't have like a jamas or anything, so we had to like get like the car seat mattress, and I was like,
Yeah.
But literally, I looked at it, I'm like, bro, I think this is like, this reminds me of when Faraz did it. I'm like,
Wow,
I'm like, this
honored.
is something I've wanted to. I crossed off my
Wallah.
bucket list. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah, I am
Awesome. Like,
honored.
inspiration, dude. Mashallah.
Wow, I don't deserve that. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing, bro. Alhamdulillah. Hey, I thought of you too. Remember when
That was so funny. I actually wanted to say, dude. It was so funny when I usually don't get snaps for Faraz that much, right? But I got a snap, and it was hit with him and Simra, and then he was just taking a snap, and he's like, say hi. You want to say hi to Fattah? And then she's like, what the hell? and then he flipped the camera out and just started sipping, like everything was normal. And I thought that was a fun. I was like dying of laughter, bro. I was like, that's the funniest thing. It was the funniest thing on earth, bro. It was the funniest thing on earth.